I don't know, Dr. Thacker, for example, how long my immunity will last at the moment. Suppose I take my first vaccination tomorrow and the second after 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Do I know how long my immunity will last?
So, the immunity data which we have for the present is that at least for 8 to 9 months your immunity will last, because you will have a T cell and a B cell response. And if you take the second dose a little later, especially the Covishield, as they've said, instead of 28 days, if you take it after 6 weeks right up to even 90 days, you will get a bigger and a better response.
Okay.
But you need the vaccination even if you have had COVID of any degree. Now, if you have had recent COVID and if you have been given plasma and all these other drugs, you might defer it. If you want to be a valiant warrior, you might say, I'll take it after 4 weeks.
Okay.
But you need it, and maybe in times to come, maybe after 2 years, we'll need a booster dose. Who knows? This is a new virus. It's 1 year old. But you need it, and it will protect you surely. If it doesn't fully protect you, the infection that you will get will be a tempered infection. It will be a mild infection. So vaccination will always offer a degree of total, if not total, partial protection, which is desirable.
Dr. Seth, have you been able to convince your staff around the lines of what Dr. Thacker has suggested, that it will provide some kind of immunity, therefore you need to take the vaccine? Would you say a majority of health workers across your hospital chain are more than willing to take the vaccine starting tomorrow?
So let me just address two issues, and I just wanted to put the previous comments into perspective, and I think it's very important, Rajdeep, to put that into perspective, saying should it be targeted versus everyone. The importance of realizing is that you may get COVID, but you have a variable response and antibody response to COVID depending upon the dose of the virus that you actually acquired, and that's why you see various illnesses and various responses, antibody responses. What's different when you get vaccinated, it's a fixed dose. It's a predictable response unless you actually have some immunological illness. And there's a booster dose, which therefore gives a long-lasting response. The second aspect, which has been discussed by every country, and by the way, this point has been discussed every country, that should you be vaccinating those who've already had COVID. It's clearly understood that if you test everybody for antibodies, that's more time-consuming, that's more expensive, and that doesn't get people vaccinated. And therefore, it is clear that testing antibodies and then vaccinating is of no use because of the two reasons which I have clearly outlined, and every country now accepts that and moves ahead.
But
thirdly, there's a uniform...
yeah, go ahead. Sorry, doctor. Go ahead.
Thirdly, that there's a uniform pattern to everything that you do. Yes, I agree with Dr. Thacker that people can opt out. People, those who have recent COVID may want to get it 8 weeks later, 12 weeks later. 4 weeks is anyway the minimum time that they can't have it. But they may want to get it 12 weeks later. They opt out and they can actually give it to somebody, somebody else takes it. The second aspect you asked was, is there a concern amongst the healthcare workers? And I would say it's natural. By the way, it's voluntary. It's natural to have concerns, but it's also a responsibility, just like we're doing on this channel of yours, to allay those concerns, to take away the misinformation, and to provide the confidence and the comfort on science, technology, and research in our own country. I must say that very clearly, that today, while we have discussed whether we've got phase 3 or haven't got phase 3, one thing that the expert committee and the government has done, made sure that the vaccine is safe and the vaccine has quality.
Okay.
Now, the efficacy issue and the phase 3 will come. But if the antibody responses have been there, and by the way, even for AstraZeneca Oxford, the data predominantly exists of the Western countries. Only 1,600 patients were from India. Covaxin probably now has 23,000 patients, and the trial would be over in 4 weeks' time. What I'm saying is that we have to have confidence. I'm not at all worried whether I get vaccine Covishield or Covaxin. Sitting here, I can say I'm not even going to ask that. And I'm saying that everybody should gradually, those who are concerned, it's for us to allay those fears, but they will also gradually see that people are benefiting, that the side effects which everyone's worried about, and by the way, even a paracetamol tablet has 2 pages worth of side effects attached to it, and we take it, and perhaps thousands and thousands of people take it every day, are only mild and those of fever and perhaps ache in the arm, which actually happens with every injection.